Yeah, that might be my fault. Justin Fields is now a Steeler, and if you've been around this channel for more than about 14 seconds, you know that that is probably my worst nightmare. However, I will say, even though I don't think Justin Fields is very good at all, the package we give up for him is next to nothing and makes it actually a relatively decent deal because a 6th-round pick for a backup quarterback, not too bad at all. In today's video, we will be ranking every single NFL wide receiver, or a lot of them, on a massive tier list, so stick around to the end. I'll try to go through this as fast as possible, but also, don't forget, we're on our way to 1,000 subs, and as soon as I get there, I will be doing a jersey giveaway. Someone will win a free standard jersey of their choice, so stick around, help me get to 1,000, and we'll do a jersey giveaway. And also, go to w.gg, check out all their products, their energy drinks, everything else I have. 10% off your order if you use code SHREDDER, or click the link in the description right now. Take you there, make your first order, and use code SHREDDER. Either way, let's get right into this video. So here's our tier list. I'll break this down for you. We start with top 5. It's the top 5 receivers in the league, in my opinion. Then, wide receiver 1s, high-end wide receiver 2s, low-end wide receiver 2s, mid, depth pieces, and bums. Either way, let's get straight into this. So, we're not going to go in any kind of order. These are kind of in alphabetical order, like Addison, Ayuk, but then AJ and Alex. So it's like last name, whatever, you get the point. Starting off, let me just grab somebody I see as interesting. This list is going, I might put somebody in wide receiver 1, but they might move down later, so stick around. CeeDee Lamb is probably top 5. However, this is not just based off of last year. This is based off of their body of work and, Tyler Lockett, he's a good example here. His body of work over his career is really good, but also he's on the decline of his career, so he's not going to be super high. So, CeeDee Lamb, he's had one really, really good year. Every other year's been good, pretty solid. So he might be towards like the back of top 5, but either way, he's top 5. Then, Davante Adams. I think he's still probably top 5. We'll see about him. He's had some bad quarterback play in the last few years, but he might jump down to wide receiver 1, but he's definitely up there for sure. Mike Evans is probably a wide receiver 1. Amon-Ra St. Brown, probably a wide receiver 1. He needs to prove himself a little more. A.J. Brown, he might teeter towards that top 5. We will have to see about him. Let's go somewhere down the board a little bit. Alec Pierce is probably a depth piece at this point. He's not great. He's okay. Whatever. Juwan Jennings, the same thing. He's a depth piece. If you think he's so great and because he had a really good season, cool. He played for a team that the scheme is everything. That's a big part of it. Yeah, it's a big help. Jamar Chase, I'm going to say wide receiver 1. Definitely towards the top. They're not necessarily going to be ranked. I'm not saying Mike Evans is better than Amon-Ra or Jamar's better than Mike Evans, but you get the point. We'll move on through there. Stephon Diggs, he's probably going to stay in wide receiver 1 for now. He's not probably in that top 5, and that's just what it is. We might need to add a second tier here. We're actually definitely going to do that, and it's going to be right below that one. Oops, wrong way. Oh, well. It's going to be wide receiver 1.5s. It's okay. Low-end wide receiver 1s. Let's make it consistent. Wide receiver 1. There we go. Low-end wide receiver 1s, really good players, but they need to move. And that is going to be DJ Moore. This is going to be that 11 through 20 range probably for the most part. They're not on this level. They haven't proven that, but they're still really good players, no doubt about it. Drake London so far, he's a high-end receiver too. He has a lot to prove still, and that's fine. He's got to develop. That's good. Let's see. I'm trying to find somebody different here. Deebo Samuel, he's probably a low-end wide receiver 1, and same with Ayuk. They're probably both low end, but it kind of makes them both high, the top wide receiver 1s, just because it kind of balances it out and takes too much off of one of them. You know what I'm saying? If that makes sense? Yeah, sure. Devontae Smith, very high-end wide receiver 2. I would be a little bit afraid if he was my wide receiver 1 being as small as he is, but with that being a factor, A.J. Brown's in front of him. He got a load taken off him there. Keenan Allen, a really good receiver. He's a wide receiver 1, though he might be on the downturn of his career. He did just have the best year of his career, though, so you don't know what to look for there. Treylon Burks, he's mid at this point. We've got to see a lot from him. A lot is needed from him. Same with Christian Watson. They're both in a spot where maybe they're not mid, but just you have to see more from them before you can get any more expectations. You can't just sit here and tell yourself that they're so great when they haven't done anything. Gabe Davis. To me, he's mid. I think he does two things really well, and that's run a go route and run a drag route. That's about it. He was a benefactor of Josh Allen through and through. That helped a ton, and we'll see how he is without that. I mean, Trevor Lawrence is a decent place to go as well. At least he's not going to, I don't know, some mediocre quarterback. I don't know. Like, I'm trying to think, and I'm just blanking completely right now. We'll say Justin Fields. At least he's not going that route, but either way. Chris Godwin, this is a tough one. I'm going to have to go high-end wide receiver too. He's a really good player, but just, he's been behind Mike Evans so long, it's hard to put anything else. Marquise Brown, he is mid. He's just not good. Honestly, you don't want him as your wide receiver 1. You don't want him as your wide receiver 2. You really want him as your wide receiver 3. That's where you want to put this guy. That's kind of this tier. They're kind of just wide receiver 3s. If they're that, then you're fine. If not, Allen Robinson, he's a depth piece at this point. Gallup is probably as well. Is that DTR? No, not DTR. That's a quarterback. I mean, Donovan Peoples-Jones. Excuse me. He is somewhere in this tier. I'm going to put him as a depth piece. He's really good as a contested catch guy, but he's just not that talented overall. Romeo Doubs, he's mid. He's got a lot to prove. There's, as your wide receiver 3, that'd be great. As your wide receiver 2, that's a little bit okay. And I don't know who this is. Is that Bo Melton? Is that Jaden Reed? I'm not sure. I don't think that's Jaden Reed. Let me see. I'm not entirely sure. It's a package receiver. We'll come back to him. Allen Lazard, he's mid. There is not any. He's probably a depth piece at this point. He's an Aaron Rodgers guy. If Aaron Rodgers is there, he'll be fine, but that's it. Honestly, we got to fix some things. Allen Robinson, he's probably closer to I don't know. He didn't get, bad quarterback play, and he was a wide receiver 3. It's hard to do much. He at least blocked well. We'll put him in bum for now, though I don't really wholeheartedly mean that. Justin Jefferson, do we have to say anything about him? He's top 5. Josh Downs, he's still going to be mid, but he's going to he honestly should be a tier, though I'm not going to make another one where it's really just solid players. Like, you're not upset about him, but you're not just pounding the table for him. But he's just played 1 year. Let's see a little bit more from him before we start crowning him super high. Let's go on and keep going through all this. Deontay Johnson. I think he's probably a high-end wide receiver too, and the talent is not super high. However, the type of player he is a great spot for a wide receiver too. How open he is, there's probably only one guy who runs better routes than him in the entire league, and it's this one right here. It's Davante Adams. But Deontay Johnson's routes are crispy. He gets himself open all the time, and if he's in a decent scheme, you'll actually be able to see that, where they're not telegraphing every single play. But, for a guy going to Carolina, help out Bryce Young, going to be a lot of help there. DK Metcalf, I think he's a low-end wide receiver 1. You're not going to put him on this elite tier with these guys, but he's still really good. And, DK, DJ Moore, Debo, Ayuk, they're all right there. They're all really solid, but just a step under these guys, in my opinion. Amari Cooper, he's a tough one. He's been down for a few years, but he probably at his best is definitely in this wide receiver 1 tier. However, at this point in his career, I think I'm going to put him at low-end wide receiver 1s. Once again, I'm not saying he's better than Ayuk or Metcalf, but he's really solid. If he was your wide receiver 2, you'd be elated. He'd be the best wide receiver 2 possible, any of these guys. However, as your wide receiver 1, you're like, all right, we can handle that. That's not bad. Like DJ Moore last year. You can handle that. Not bad. But now that he's your wide receiver 2, this is great. You're in a great spot. Chris Olave, to me, he's a high-end wide receiver 2 as well. It's the type of player. Him, Deontay Johnson, they're Devontae Smith as well. That role player where, they're in the slot, they're more shifty. They're not really your outside X prototypical receiver. That's just going to be your high-end wide receiver 2 guy. It's just what it is. Quentin Johnston, he's a bum at this point. He's got to stop body catching every single thing, or, yeah, he's going to stay there. I don't know. That's Curtis Samuel. Is that Jahan Dotson? We do have rookies in here. I didn't know that. Whatever. Tyreek Hill, he's in the top 5. We're going to jump around a little bit here. Jalen Waddle, both of the Dolphins receivers, I think he is a high-end wide receiver too. Kind of fitting in that same mold as Devontae Smith, Chris Olave, Deontay Johnson, whatever. Odell Beckham, at this point, he's like between mid and a depth piece. He's not that great. He can do fine things for you, but you're not going to sit here and just be super happy he's your wide receiver 1 or 2. I think he's a depth piece at this point, especially a year added on to what we just saw. Juju Smith-Schuster, he's mid. Maybe New England was just a terrible spot for him. Maybe he should have gone somewhere else and could have been better, but I don't know. He's there. Puka Nacua, this one's going to be an interesting one. I think at this point he's a high-end wide receiver 2. He's just played his rookie year. Can we give him more than 5 minutes to show us what he can do? And yeah, he did a lot of it without Cooper Kupp, but also he did some stuff with Cooper Kupp. Cooper Kupp is still that guy, that team's wide receiver 1. Whether he's a top 5 or not, we'll go ahead and rank him. After last year, I'm probably going to have to put him here. And the consistency of how much he's hurt and just he can't be on the field. But still, nonetheless, two very good receivers making a good core there as well. Puka is just, we got to see more. That's for sure. D-Hop, I think at this point in his career, he's got that veteran savvy to make him a low-end 1. But he's also like the talent and the ability of a 2 at this point. I'm still going to just, out of good peace, give him a solid ranking of low-end 1, but it's fine. Let's see. Jacoby Myers, he's a high-end 2. I think you're not upset about him being your 2. Maybe you'd want another guy there. Maybe, I'm going to drop him 1 tier lower. I think he doesn't fit with these guys. These are like kind of your solid 2s and maybe borderline superstars. Like these are superstars up here, but they're stars. These are superstars up here. But like these guys are just stars. These are your borderline stars. And this is your like not stars, but really, really good. That's also going to fit into a spot where we have, let's say Jordan Addison so far. Once again, 1 year in, he will climb this rank. He'll probably be in this range by about next year. But either way, it's fine. Michael Pittman, I think he is probably a low-end 1. I think he's a really good receiver. I think he can do a lot of things, and he's just versatile, very strong, that big prototypical guy you want. A lot of things I like about him. He just has had really bad quarterback play for a long time. JSN, at this point, he's mid. It's been 1 year. We'll give him some time. Then, let's see. Jameson Williams, at this point, he's pretty mid as well. He just hasn't done anything in his career, and we're yet to see him really, show up for the most part. Tyler Lockett, I think after last year, you might be putting him in, but prior to last year, he might be a low-end 1. After this year, he's got that vet savvy to make him here. He might be a 2, though. I'm going to put him probably here still. I still think he has a pretty solid leg up on JSN, at least at this point, but we'll see. We'll have to wait and see with him. Rondale Moore, he's mid. He's a good wide receiver 3, I guess, but that's about it. You're not really hoping for much else. Another controversial one here, Nico Collins. He's going to be, to me, in my opinion, he's had 4 years of doing 2 or 3 years, let me be real, of doing absolutely nothing. And now he has had 1 year where he did really, really well. But let's temper our expectations once again. I think at this point, I can't put him up here with any of these guys because all of these guys have had sustained, consistent success. He's going to land here because he doesn't even have as much consistent success as Waddle and Olave and Johnson and Drake London maybe because London's not really done much either, but you can blame the situation on both of these guys. However, you've got to see more from him. He had a really, really, really good year last year, but you've also seen really, really, really good years from Smith and Godwin and Deontay and Olave and Jalen Waddle, etc. You get the point. Julio Jones, he is a depth piece at this point on a good day. Marvin Harrison Jr., I am going to rank him because of just how good this prospect is as a whole. Honestly, I think minimum he can be is a high-end wide receiver 2 at this point. Yeah, he hasn't played in the NFL, but he knows everything about the NFL from his dad. He's a good spot to be in. You just can't blame him much. Elijah Moore, he's mid. That's about it. Garrett Wilson, probably a high wide receiver 2. I'm going to actually drop Drake London down a tier just because he's probably not done enough yet. And Garrett Wilson has done a lot more than him. I just think that's fair. Yeah, I think that is pretty fair. Mike Williams, to me, with the injuries, with the inconsistent production, though he can be really good, I still am going to put him in a low end 2. He can be really, really, really good, but you just can't get him to do it enough consistently, and that's a big problem. Let's see, Jalen Hyatt, at this point, he's a depth piece, not much to share from him. Christian Kirk, he's a low end 2. Honestly, you're not happy with him being high end 2s. You're like, if they're your 1, you're in an okay spot. You're not upset about it. A low end 2, you're like, all right, they can't be a 1 right now, but we can do something about it later. George Pickens, he's going to be a high end 2 at this point. He's not had the most success, but you're also quarterback situation, the scheme, a lot of things. He put up 1,000 yards last year with, Mitch Trubisky being a national terrorist. So that's a part there. Into our next section, Calvin Ridley. I think he's like a low end 2 as well. Before last season, we started not me. I don't know who. A lot of people, though, started being like, Calvin Ridley's going to be a top 5 receiver this year. Why? He missed 2 years of football, and before that, he wasn't a top 5 receiver. Why would you think he's going to come back after not playing for 2 years and think he's going to be that good? He's just not going to be. What are you thinking? He's fine. He got overpaid. It is what it is. He's okay. Darnell Mooney, he's going to float right in between these two tiers. He's done a little bit of more than enough to be, just mid, but he's also not really quite a low end too. I'm going to put him mid. I am going to leave him at the top because he's done some things, but you're still not really loving him at 2. Tank Dell, I think he had a really good season. His health is going to be a concern with his size, but, at this point, if he's your 3, you're really happy. If he's your 2, you can handle it. I'm going to put him there for that reason. Cortland Sutton, the same. If he's your 3, awesome. If he's your 2, that's really good. If he's your 1, you can handle it, but you're not really happy about it. So that's where he's going to land. He's not behind Tank Dell necessarily. They're not in order of tier, but either way. T. Higgins, I think he is a high-end wide receiver too, and I don't think he'll ever be anything different. He might want to go to another team, but the grass ain't always greener. I don't think his type of receiver is going to be super great on his own. I think he's a guy that benefits a lot from having Jamar Chase and Tyler Boyd on the field with him and having a really good quarterback in Joe Burrow. However, nothing to say he is bad. He's still very, very, very good. If you're ranking him, he's going to be towards the top of this tier somewhere. Once again, tiers are not in perfect order. Rashee Rice, he's a low end 2 at this point. I don't think you're really happy with him at your 1, but if he's your 2, you're fine. Not a problem about that. Thielen, I'll say low end 2. He's just, it's hard to say much else because he's had a really solid career. Last year wasn't great, but you can also blame the fact that he's old. They had a rookie quarterback who wasn't very promising at what he's shown at least. And maybe if there was another guy on the field that he wasn't the only target, maybe he would have been fine. I think you can argue that much. Kadarius Toney's a bum. Let's see. I've got to figure out who some of these guys are down here. I just can't really pick it out. That's Curtis Samuel. I think he's mid. He's a good 3. That's about it. Same with Rashad Bateman. He's about a good 3. You're fine with that. I'm gonna say this is Jahan Dotson, even if I'm wrong. I think it is. We're gonna say Jahan Dotson is a low end 2. He's not done enough yet to be anything better than that, but he's still got a lot of upside. I think this is Noah Brown. He's mid. He's a good 3, maybe a really good 4, but he could be even a depth piece. I think you could put him at depth piece. That Jawan Jennings, that's Brandon Cooks. That's not Michael Gallup. I'm sorry. Brandon Cooks, excuse me. He's a low end 2. I just realized that this far into the video. Sorry about it. That's Michael Gallup. He's a depth piece. Either way, I don't know who this is offhand. I'm thinking it's Jaden Reed. If I'm wrong, I'm sorry. But I think that's who this is. We're going to say he's mid at this point. He's got a lot of upside. And I think he could be really solid, but we've got to see more from him in a year where Jordan Love can play a full year at a consistent rate and not be pretty bad for the first half and really, really good for the second half. I'm going to say this is like Bo Melton or something. He's a depth piece. He's fine. Maybe Quez, what is his name? Quez Watkins. I don't know. There's another one there. I'm missing him. You'll figure it out. I don't even know who that is. I'm not even going to lie to you. I don't know who that is. Khalil Shakir, he's a depth piece. He's fine. He's a product of Josh Allen. Jerry Jeudy, he's mid. I think at this point in his career, he's a wide receiver 3, and you're really happy about it. If he's your 2, you'll handle it for now. It's fine. KJ Osborne, he's mid. He's a 3. That's fair. Michael Thomas, he's probably mid at this point. Darius Slayton, he can't really be determined, honestly, at all, because his quarterback situation is Daniel Jones, and Daniel Jones stinks. I'm going to say depth piece. No, I can't do that. He can't be under Michael Thomas. No. Terry McLaurin, I think he is... This one's tough. I don't think Sam Howell was bad, but I think the team was bad last year. I'm going to say he's a wide receiver 1 still. I haven't seen anything else to prove anything otherwise. Plus, the sustained success is just really good for him. MVS, he's mid. He's a 3. Is that Devontae Parker? I believe so. He's mid. Same with Rashid Shaheed. He's mid. Zay Flowers, that's a good one to put in here. I'll say at this point, he's a high end too. He had a really good rookie year. Maybe you're not... okay, if I put Jordan Addison at low end 2, he's going at low end 2. I think they're the same. I think they're pretty much right on par with each other at this point. I can't put one above the other. I don't know who this is. I don't know, so he's going to go in a bum. And I don't know who this is, so he's going to go in a bum. If I mess that up, I am sorry, but it is what it is. So let me make sure you can see all of these names. Going up to the top here. Let me see if I can rank any of these. I do have to pull up one more for the top 5. If I'm picking one of these guys, I'm taking A.J. Brown over the rest of them. And we'll rank this tier. To me, I think it's Justin Jefferson. I think it's Tyreek Hill. I think CeeDee Lamb has not been as good overall as A.J. Brown has been, so I'm going to do that. Devontae Adams has taken a step backwards in his career, but he's still 5, and he is number 5. But I think that right there is a pretty fair tier. I don't know if I'll rank the rest of these. Diggs had a rough year. Amon-Ra, he's really good. I mean, we just haven't seen enough of him yet. Mike Evans, I think that's really solid right there in that tier. I mean, that's fine. In this tier, we're not going to rank this whole tier, but my favorite one in this tier would probably be DJ Moore's close. Amari Cooper's close. I like Debo more than Ayuk. We'll rank this tier. Why not? We'll do that. I think Pittman's on the up and up. I like him more than DK because he's actually not going to throw a fit, and I just can't stand that. But yeah, I think it's pretty good. Let me know what you think about this tier list down in the comments below. And if you don't like it, oh well. If you do, great. Also, just remember, it's my opinion. Check out w.gg. Make sure you use code Shredder on any of your orders and help me get to 1,000 subs. Seriously, trying to get there as soon as possible. Would appreciate your help a ton. Either way, thank you all for watching, and I'll see y'all in the next video.